Hi, food fans. Welcome back to Kitchen Stadium. This is Iron Chef America. Today's battle, cabbage.
Now I'm ready.
Wherein Iron Chef Bobby Flay is battling it out with the challenger, Chef David Kinch. Now, they are working with the green, red, Napa, Brussels sprouts, bok choy, and Savoy cabbages, which Iron Chef Flay has blanched. Now, he's got some mushrooms in a blender with some olive oil, some salt cod standing by, interesting. And they made Iron Chef Flay's signature red and green oils also. Now, over on the challenger side, some red cabbage, pear, and herbs were vacuum sealed. The dashi was strained and mixed with soy sauce and seaweed. They have boiled some rutabaga and other root vegetables, and some chestnuts are in the deep fryer. These are two fine culinary minds here, to be sure, but they are not the only ones in the house today. We'll speak, of course, of our judges. And to introduce them, we go up to Kevin Brosh.
Hey, thanks, Elton. Come by the Y, everyone. Good evening. Here are the judges. Our first judge is the editor-in-chief at Savor magazine. He's also written a cookbook called Cradle of Flavor, featuring recipes from the Spice Islands of Asia. This is James Osland. In our second chair is a Tony Award-winning actress with just too many credits to mention here. She's a frequent diner in Kitchen Stadium, and we're always glad to have her warm smile at her table. This is Katie Huffman. Our third and final judge owns the Chef's Garden. The small farm supplies more than 600 varieties of vegetables, microgreens, and herbs to the world's top cooks. From Huron, Ohio, please welcome Farmer Lee Jones.
Let's get back to the action. All right, Iron Chef Bobby Flay now has those lobster tails out on his board. He's chopping that up and is going to put that inside something, and I'm willing to bet, having seen the mixtures that he's put together, that Iron Chef Bobby Flay is going to make a lobster tamale. Because in that mixture, there is cornmeal, baking powder, and butter. We've got some pieces of Savoy being divided up by Jean-Paul over on his board on the challenger's side. I think they're going to be doing some wrapping, some stuffing with those leaves. That is certainly a natural thing to do.
Yeah, can I get 2 small bowls, please?
And we've got a cream mixture, it looks like, being whipped up on an ice bath right in front of us. Chef Kinch is working on that right there. What else do you have in there, Chef?
Right here?
Yep.
It's whipped cream. It's going to be separated out into whipped cream and a mustard cream.
And a mustard cream.
Yeah.
Oh, and look. I guessed that the Iron Chef was making tamales, and instead of wrapping that cornmeal mixture in corn husks, he's using the blanched Savoy leaves. All right, we have a camera now standing up by our judges. I want to start with James down at the end. Welcome to Kitchen Stadium. What do you think so far? Is this what you expected?
It's gorgeous. I mean, I'm particularly excited, I think, about the bok choy. I've been known to be called Mr. Bok Choy, so I'm very thrilled to have some bok choy coming my way.
All right, well, Mr. Bok Choy, let's move down to Katie. Katie, what's going through your mind so far in this battle?
You know, I married a very good Irish cook, so what I'm looking forward to now is like sort of a more delicate side of cabbage and seeing what they're doing with the fruits. And
I bet a good Irish cook probably doesn't bring a lot of fruit to the table, do they?
not a lot in his Irish cooking, no.
All right, well, let's head on down to the first farmer that I can ever remember having here in Kitchen Stadium. Certainly the first to wear overalls. Lee, how's it going? Is this what you expected?
I am absolutely thrilled that we're using the cabbage. It's such an underrated vegetable in the United States, and I'm really, really excited to see what the chefs are going to do with it.
All right, thanks, judges. We'll get back to you shortly. Speaking of other underutilized items in American kitchens, shiso leaf, which we see over on the challenger side. We can see that being torn.
I screwed up the lardons, and the bacon we have left is sliced, so I'm cutting it, but it's going to be...
What do you mean you screwed them up?
I was nervous and I cut them too small.
That's all right. Okay. Sounds like Tara is having a bacon crisis on her first visit to Kitchen Stadium.
You mean you cut them too small, meaning they burned?
It's this, like it's...
That's fine, it's perfect.
Looks like Iron Chef Flay is giving a nod to her lardon.
All right, I guess I was...
Dodged a bullet on that one. Christine's got quite possibly the world's largest food mill. She's making mashed potatoes. Of course, doing that through a manual mill gives you a much finer consistency, but they are a devil to keep cleared. You have to mow through it and then back it up, and then you gotta get out a spoon. It's a difficult tool to use.
You all right?
Yeah, the food mill's interesting.
All right, that thinly sliced cabbage that Iron Chef Bobby Flay was working with, he just poured a mixture of rice wine vinegar, some honey, and serrano chilies over that, and now that's sliding into the oven under a nice, safe blanket of foil. The challenger has taken some of that red cabbage that he was cooking with the pears and set it to go in the blender. That is very purple. What is Christine dumping into the food processor? It's all too steamed up. I can't see it.
Is that the milk and garlic?
Salt cod.
Salt cod. That's the salt cod.
That's the salt cod.
Yeah, that's the salt cod.
All right, what do we know? If we see salt cod that's been soaked that's going into a food processor, they're making brandade. They're making that traditional French puree of salt cod that usually has potato in it, which of course would be coming out as potato milk. Looking back down, we can see the brandade coming together now in Christine's hand over on the Iron Chef side. All right, so that mixture that went in the vacuum sealer is now out on the board. The red cabbage with the herbs. It's being very, very finely chopped on Chef David's board. David Finch knows how to cut it very, 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 very small. Gets a good micro chop on that. All right, let's take a look at what James is doing over on the Challenger side. He's using a bird's beak paring knife, and he's giving that Brussels sprout a deep cut. Then he's digging down deep and taking the core out. That makes it a whole lot easier to peel those leaves off. And we can see David Kinch taking just the inner rib out of those Savoy leaves. So he's definitely going to be rolling those around something. We just don't know what it is at this point.
30 minutes have left.
We're under the 30-minute mark now here in Kitchen Stadium. We can see some small torn bits of just the standard green cabbage coming out of the final stage of the blanching process. Bit of vinaigrette now coming together under the capable whisk of Tara, who's very slowly drizzling something into something. I'm calling it vinaigrette because it looks like she's got Dijon in there.
It's a vinaigrette with white wine vinegar, bacon fat, almond oil.
On the Challenger side, we're looking down now at a cabbage and mushroom mixture. That's the blanched green cabbage and the seaweed. We've got a lot of blanching and shocking of cabbage leaves going on. That, of course, will make it easier to roll. The shocking will, of course, stop the cooking and set the color. We'll have to see where all those cabbage leaves end up. So far, the Savoy cabbages have been used to wrap the Iron Chef's tamales. The Brussels sprouts have been broken down on both sides of Kitchen Stadium. The bok choy is a braising, and the red and green cabbages have been finely cut on both sides. The cooking continues as the competition reaches a boiling point on Iron Chef America.
This is Nissan Now. Get special savings on durable trucks, like up to $4,500.